Have you seen any good films or TV programs recently? If you have, let's talk about it. In today's video with English class, we're going to be looking at how to do part 2 of the writing and proficiency, a review. Okay guys, now remember, in part 2, we have 3 options to choose from. It could be that we have an article, it could be that we have a letter, it could be that we have a report or a review. We will have 3 options. So today we're going to be talking about how to do a review. Now the review we have between 280 to 320 words. Now we could be writing a review about hotels, we could be writing a review about TV programs, concerts, films, etc, etc. So where does this differ from other exams such as advanced? Well, here in the review we have to give our opinion and we may have to provide a recommendation. Whereas before our reviews may have been more objective, here we're going to be using more evaluative language. So we're going to evaluate in more or greater detail what we are going to be talking about. So in general guys, it's going to provide both information and opinion on a nice balance, let's say. What we don't want to do is describe the whole plot. Imagine it was a film. We don't want to hear from the get-go what happened in the film until the final moment. No. We would like to introduce our opinions using some very good structures and some very good linkers. Also using some rhetorical questions could be a good idea to preface your opinion or your ideas. And so this means our language is going to be formal or possibly neutral, depending on who we are writing the review for. So the first things first, it's very important to name what you're going to be reviewing. Be it a book, be it a film, be it a concert. So in the introduction, that's where you should start to introduce what you're going to write about. Now, of course, we could write, but we have to use some very good vocabulary, let's say proficiency related vocabulary. So, I want you to have a look now at some of this vocabulary based on these different topics. Have a look, and if you don't understand any of the vocabulary or any of the words, make sure you brush up on them and you are conscious of what they mean. Guys, we also have some restaurant vocabulary because remember, we could be reviewing a restaurant. Here guys, we have some vocabulary related to a concert. And finally, we have some vocabulary that you should brush up on about the film or TV program review. Okay guys, now that we have some proficiency level vocabulary or thereabouts, let's have a look at the structure, because remember, you can't cook without a recipe. So as you can see here in paragraph 1, this is where we should identify the author, possibly the title or the main topic, and also try to identify the author's purpose, okay? In paragraph 2, this is where we give a short summary, a brief overview of the plot, the settings, actors, or the general idea. In paragraph 3 and 4, this is where we could describe good and bad points regarding whatever we are reviewing. And finally, in paragraph 5, this is where we should evaluate the work the author has done. And here is where we could give our opinion. Now, this is just a rough guide for writing a review. Now, you can put your own touch on it. You can write maybe 1 paragraph less or 2 paragraphs more, but it's a good base to go off, at least. So without further ado, we're going to look at a task that we are going to tackle now. Here we're going to be reviewing a film. Your college magazine has invited students to contribute a film review to a special feature entitled Special Effects, Essential Nowadays or Distracting. Write a review of a film you have seen that uses special effects and say whether you think they are an important aspect of today's film. Okay guys, now we're going to have a little go at trying to review a film. Now, I'm going to choose a film, but The reader is not really going to be interested in what film you're going to choose, rather how you're going to talk about it. So in the review, you should be looking to include some very sophisticated language and also some good grammatical structures. Try to look out for any inversions or even present participles. Try to look out for some conditionals if there are any, and also any idioms, phrasal verbs or expressions that you don't know. Okay, so in paragraph 1, this is where we have to identify the author, the title, and the author's purpose. So here we could say something like, being a bit of a film buff, the news that the first Back to the Future film was going to screen near me had me over the moon. So, last week I popped to the cinema with a friend to admire it on the big screen. Okay guys, as easy as that. We've introduced the title of the film. We've talked about whether or not you were actually interested in it. So now you've caught the reader's attention, this is where you have to develop your introduction a bit more and delve deeper into the author's purpose. Now in paragraph 2, here is where we can see that we have to give a short summary, a brief overview about the plot, setting, actors, or even the general idea. So you could start by saying something like, why is it such a perfect film with beyond fantastic special effects for its time? Talking about Back to the Future. Well, the two main characters portrayed by, and then you can go on to talk about the plot or some of the main ideas that the author or the director in this sense would have given. Okay, now in paragraph 3 or 4, we have to describe the good and bad points respectively. So we could say something like, there is no doubt in my mind that, etc., etc. This is what paved the way for the future, and then whatever changed or whatever happened because of that film, you could elaborate on that. What was disappointing, some might say, is that, etc., etc. And you could also include let down by its cliched script. In this paragraph, we've included some good and possible bad points of the film. Now in the final paragraph, guys, this is where we have to evaluate the work of the author, or in this case, the director or the film itself, and also give our opinion. So you could say something like, I am inclined to believe that today's younger cinema goers choose action films over etc., etc. Okay guys, and that is pretty much all that you have to do for a review. Again, it's very good to work off these points and then put your own spin on it, depending on what you're reviewing. We didn't have to give a recommendation for another film or something in general, but we did have to give our opinion. So it's good to be aware that you may have to give a recommendation for something in regards to writing a review. So I'm going to leave you now with a task that you can have a go at, following the structure that we have just been through. And let me know how you get on in the comment section below. So if you like the video for today guys, with English class, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.